Hello, welcome to the Node.js Community Benchmarking Workgroup meeting for December 4th, 2017. I think we're going to have a fairly short, small meeting today, as there's only myself and Udom Power, but we might as well go through our agenda anyway. So, any announcements? I don't have any this week. Udom, do you have any? Are you on mute?
Oh, sorry. I don't have any announcement. Yeah,
Okay.
I was on.
Okay, great. So we have three things on the agenda. The first one is 159, which is the adding Ghost to our workloads. Now let's see. You open that one, Udom. So do you have any update or discussion on that front?
Yeah, maybe I should have updated the issue. So there's a huge performance difference between the 0.11, which was the previous version of Ghost, and the latest LTS, which is 1.0. And the difference is as big as almost 30%. So we don't want to add a workload, and then if someone
Right.
who's using the Ghost, right, they should see this difference, and that would be very confusing.
Yep.
So I think we would like to get some. Let me update the issue. Maybe after the meeting, I'll go update all the documents, and then we can collectively decide which version we should add to our testing framework.
Okay.
And the gap remains irrespective of the node version. So
Okay. Okay, so I just took a note that says huge difference between 0.11 and 1.0, almost 30%. Udom will update the issue and take back to GitHub to be discussed next meeting.
Okay.
Sounds good. And here I'm actually going to share my screen so that people can. I didn't want to share all my screen. I want to share one window. There you go. So people can see that. Okay. Next thing on the agenda was survey questions for end users to decide what to benchmark. That was discussed in the end user feedback meeting late last week, Friday, I believe. And the outcome is that we are going to, we've taken the questions. There was some discussion around whether there should be more multiple choice and stuff like that. It's going to be sent to the person in the foundation who normally puts them together to sort of put together a draft of the benchmarking of the poll to go out. We're going to meet and have some discussions, and the goal is to basically review and do the final sign-off 2 weeks from last Friday. And then actually, we discussed whether it was good sending the survey out over the Christmas or the holiday season. The feeling was, well, actually, that might give developers more time to think about it and stuff. So we decided to say yes. So yeah, we hope that should go out soon after, 2 weeks from now. And we'll start to get some questions. There was also interest in those questions and, people using them in face-to-face meetings and stuff like that. So I think that'll be good. Any questions on that front or?
No, that looks good.
I'm just going to take a few quick notes discussed in user feedback team meeting Friday. Okay, next one is status of running the Node Core benchmarks. Okay, so that one, I know that Gareth had an action to send out an email or an issue, and I believe he did, because I remember seeing that. So let me just, Gareth had action send out to collaborators. So let's just find that. Okay, actually, there's no comment in there. Let's see if I can find that issue so we can add that in there. Okay, here it is. So it's issue 17359 in the Node.js community. He opened. Okay. So let's just see if there's any interesting discussion there. Okay, I guess there was one issue reported in terms of its usage that is related to getting some extra pieces installed, but that seems like about it. There is about 8 people who sort of thumbed up, so at least we got some visibility. I don't think there's anything else to discuss on that front. Now, what I wonder, the original issue, I think that one we can close now, right?
Yeah, so is this going to be added as in we will run all these APIs, the buffer and the streams and the string decoders, all of
It
those will be
basically
run?
it lets you choose a set, and if you ask to run a huge set, it'll run them all.
So it is a user decides what to
Yeah.
run, not we do it automatically. Okay.
Yeah. We still have the issue where I'm so bad with names, but Benedict had asked somebody to look at like sort of, I think it was, is it, hold on here. Sorry, GitHub. Let's see, I don't remember who it was. No, nobody there. Is there another issue for this? Well, no. Anyway, Benedict had asked somebody to look at building, like looking at them all and trying to come up with a smaller set, which would make sense to run regularly. So that's still underway. This is sort of independent of that. It basically, gives a a tool people can use, and if we can make it better and run things at night at some point, that'd be good. But this is a good first step.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Right. So that's what we had on the agenda. I think the other thing worth mentioning just is 177, I think it is. So this one was just a request to run the Canary build in the benchmarks as well. I guess that shows how the new versions of V8 are doing in advance. And so starting to work on that. Already added the job that will run it every night, seems to run in pass, kicked off a couple, and just need somebody now to do the changes to get it actually into the charts.
Let me, if there is anything I can do to help.
If you want to if you look in there, I just asked if Benedict could create the PR to add the configs, but if you want to jump in and do that, that'd be great.
That's 176, right?
177.
177.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to say created job to run nightly on Canary branch. Just need to add the other thing about the that was related to the discussion of the job to run the benchmarks is that that needs to have more things installed. So if you had any chance to get on to the Ansible jobs, that would be really good. Because every time we go to add something, it's kind of like, we should do this in Ansible, but we haven't started yet. Like if we already had the scripts, it'd be simple, right?
Right.
But you sort of got to get them in place, the first set in place, and then it's easy to add to. And until then, we always sort of say, oh, well, okay, we'll just manually put them on. But
right. Yeah, I was supposed to work on that. As soon as I find time, I'll definitely work on it.
okay, yeah, that's why I just wanted to mention it. But So that's all we had on the agenda. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about this week?
Nothing specific. And thanks for approving those PRs, the DCIS hanging issues and a couple of those. So
Yeah,
appreciate
no
that.
problem. It was good to get them in and landed, and everything's working, so that's good.
Yeah. So why don't I see the footprint graphs there yet?
I think there's one more thing you need to do, which is to PR the graphs into the main page.
Okay.
That
All
is
right.
something
Okay.
I noticed. I just didn't get around to. So like in this here, I'm just gonna, this guy right here, facing into the chat.
Okay. I need to update that one. Okay.
So we can actually check
Right.
though. I think let's check coverage. Oops. I just want to see to make sure that the other ones they're there, even if we can't see them. Oops, no, it's benchmarking.
Yeah, benchmarks.
And if we go to, so what's the name of one of them?
DCIS latency, not footprint.
Okay, so just DCEIS dash something or underscore.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, because I got now. I need the exact name, or it's not gonna. Since I'm guessing.
I think that was probably underscore.
So is it DCEIS underscore pre underscore footprint or
DC underscore EIS underscore pre-footprint.
okay. So yeah, here I will share that temporarily. Stop share.
And then pre and post footprint. So DC underscore EIS underscore.
Right. So you should be able to see my screen. So that the pre-foot one is there. And
yes, I will add those two lines there for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's all
exactly.
that it'll take. Oops. And yep, so they're both there.
Yeah.
See if there's anything interesting. So blue 8 and master are better than the other two on that one.
Right.
Which is good because that's the way we'd prefer it. And then they're pretty much the same except for 4 is a little higher. So, okay. So generally the results look good. Okay. So I'm going to go back. I'll reshare this guy. Okay. So I think that's about it for this week. We'll just give people a chance for Q&A. So if anybody has a question, you can add it into the original issue itself. We'll just give you a minute or two to do that. While that's happening, I think we should talk about the next meeting. So calendar, I'm just going to go check to see. The next meeting is scheduled for 2 weeks from now. I'm on holiday that week.
Yeah, it looks like I probably will be on holiday as well. But it's up to you. I think then we come back just, I think, next year, I guess.
Yeah, the next one is on the New Year's Day. I guess what I'd suggest is that we move the New Year's Day one to Tuesday the 2nd. That make sense?
For me, let me check. Second sound. Yeah, we have. Yeah, second sounds good to me. For me, it's okay.
Okay, so I'm going to say, because I expect most people are going to be relatively busy over the holiday month, and decided to cancel next meeting. due to holiday period, and decided to move following meeting one day to Tuesday, as the Monday is New Year's Day. And if if anything actually if anything important comes up in the meantime, we can reject. If we need to meet before then, we can schedule an ad hoc meeting. Okay, sounds good. So now I'm going to check one more time. I don't see any questions on the Q&A, so no questions this week. So I think that's it. So thanks, Sudham, and we'll talk to you in GitHub or wherever until the next meeting. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you, Mike.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.